The night was cold, the wind howling through the empty streets like a wounded beast. Nathan stood alone, his breath forming tiny clouds in the frigid air. He had been here before, in the darkness, on the edge of defeat, staring down the barrel of life's relentless trials. But this time was different. This time, they had come for him not because he was weak, but because he was too strong. From the moment he had set foot in the corporate world, Nathan had outworked, outthought, and outpaced everyone around him. While others sought comfort in mediocrity, he embraced the struggle, knowing that nothing great was ever built on an easy road. His rise was meteoric, but with every step he climbed, the shadows behind him grew darker. There were whispers, unseen eyes watching, hands moving against him in the background. He felt it before he saw it. The silent resistance, the quiet resentment that grew in the hearts of those who feared his strength. It began subtly. Opportunities mysteriously disappeared. Projects he spearheaded were reassigned to others, his ideas dismissed before they could take flight. Nathan understood what was happening. They weren't fighting him because he was failing. They were fighting him because he was winning. The world doesn't hate the weak. It ignores them. But the strong become targets. As he walked through the towering skyscrapers of the city, his mind replayed the moments of betrayal. Friends he trusted had turned away. Mentors who once encouraged him now avoided his calls. His resilience unsettled them. His determination made them uneasy. And so they tried to break him, not through force, but through doubt, through isolation, through the slow erosion of his spirit. Nathan had a choice. He could shrink, make himself smaller to appease those who feared his strength, or he could rise higher, push forward despite the forces trying to pull him down. He knew the answer before the question even fully formed. He had spent his entire life fighting for his place in the world. Surrender was never an option. The night stretched before him, filled with possibilities and dangers alike. He clenched his fists, feeling the power within him surge. He was not just strong, he was unbreakable. And no matter how many tried to stand in his way, he would carve his path, one relentless step at a time. The following morning, Nathan awoke with a renewed fire in his heart. He had spent the night reflecting, but now was the time for action. He knew that being strong wasn't just about enduring hardship. It was about striking back, about forging ahead no matter how heavy the burden became. He arrived at the office earlier than anyone else, his presence a silent declaration that he was far from defeated. He walked into the boardroom where decisions were made, where the powerful sat in comfort, assuming they had control over him. Today, that illusion would be shattered. As the meeting commenced, he laid out his ideas with unshakable confidence. Every statistic, every strategy, every plan was airtight. The opposition, those who had worked in the shadows to discredit him, shifted uncomfortably. They had expected him to retreat, to bow under the weight of their manipulations. Instead, he was stronger, sharper, unstoppable. Yet, even as he spoke, Nathan noticed a silent war waging in their eyes. They wouldn't stop. If anything, his resilience had only fueled their determination to see him fall. But he was prepared. He had learned their game, and now he would play it better than they ever could. Later that evening, Nathan stood at the rooftop of his apartment, overlooking the sprawling city lights. His battle was far from over, but he knew one truth. When you're too strong, they try to break you. But strength isn't just about surviving the storm. It's about becoming the storm. Days turned into weeks, and the pressure against Nathan only intensified. The attacks became more sophisticated, the opposition more ruthless. Rumors spread like wildfire, designed to chip away at his credibility. Emails went missing, numbers were manipulated, alliances shifted in the shadows. He was surrounded, yet he refused to falter. One evening, after an especially grueling day, he found himself alone in his office, the city lights casting long shadows on the floor. The weight of it all threatened to press down on him. But then, something stirred within, a fire that could not be extinguished. He wasn't just fighting for himself anymore. He was fighting for every person who had ever been told they were too much, too ambitious, too determined. The next morning, he made his move. He exposed the corruption with precision, revealing the schemes that had been plotted against him. Documents, emails, undeniable proof. He laid it all bare. The reaction was immediate. The very people who had sought to bury him now found themselves in the spotlight of scrutiny. Nathan had turned their own game against them. He had not just survived, he had risen higher than ever before. And as he walked out of the building that day, he knew one thing. Strength was never the enemy. It was the greatest weapon of all. Months later, the world had changed. Nathan had built something greater than himself, a movement. His story had resonated, reaching beyond boardrooms and corporate battles. People who had once felt powerless now stood tall, inspired by his journey. He had become a symbol of resilience, proof that no matter how hard the world tries to break you, true strength is forged in adversity. Standing before a crowd of thousands, Nathan took a deep breath. The battle had been brutal, but the victory was sweet. He spoke with conviction, his voice echoing through the stadium. They will try to break you. They will throw everything at you to make you doubt yourself. But if you stand firm, if you refuse to be defeated, you will become unstoppable. The cheers were deafening, a testament to his struggle and triumph. He had learned that true strength isn't just about endurance. It's about transformation. And Nathan, he had become the storm that no one could silence.